my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, this over here is Precious, and I make lifestyle and beauty related content and a bunch of other stuff that you probably don't care about, but then I know that today's stuff you're going to care about. I'm going to be sharing tips and tricks of how to look for an accommodation, things you need to look for when you're actually looking for an accommodation. So please be sure to like the video, comment down below if you have any other questions, because I haven't started, but if you have any questions, please do comment down below and I will be gladly to answer them. So the notebook is back. I wrote a couple of things down so that I don't actually forget. So let's just get into the video. So things that I wrote down, the first one I wrote is the Wi-Fi. Guys, we are in a pandemic, and then it's obvious that most institutions are learning online, if not all of them. So the Wi-Fi is the most important thing. So when you're looking for an accommodation, you need to look for an accommodation that has pretty much a workable, if not good, connection. So basically, also where you live, where you actually decide you want to actually live, decides whether the internet connection is going to be good, because people use different what is this, network providers. Yeah, so if you're going to be using telecom in, let's say, in Orlando, maybe telecom in Orlando is not that good, so you need to consider whether like the connection or whether the Wi-Fi in that place is good. So when you're viewing, just try and ask them for a password so that you can check it out. Try, let's see, things that you know that it takes a lot of connectivity, and also checking like the number of routers that are there, like simply asking how many routers are there and stuff. It can actually help, because you know that you're not going to be connecting to a router that is like so far away, which makes your connectivity so hard, or that they have less routers and they have a lot of people. Obviously less routers are not going to connect to more than 30 people, right, or more than 30 devices. So yeah, check that one out. Is the most important. I know that I said not like just because I said something first, but we are in a pandemic and we're learning online, so Wi-Fi is the most essential thing at this point. You need to also check if the room that you're given, if is it upstairs, is it downstairs, so that you can actually check if the network is going to be great. I have a very bad experience with living downstairs. That's why when I looked for an accommodation this time, I said I want to live upstairs, because when you're using Vodacom, right, I'm not bashing anything, but when you're using Vodacom, most of the time when you're living downstairs, the connection is very bad. Like I've seen it with more than just the accommodation I was living, but most accommodations, like when you're using Vodacom, the connection is bad. So you need to consider if the network that you're using, if you're about to live downstairs, if it works. If not, then it's not worth it. So another thing which is very important is the backup power. So you need to check if the accommodation that you are actually going to, if it has like backup power or not. So let's say if it has, like, it can either have your generator. Most races don't have generators, but they have solar power. So you need to check also the system that they use, like the schedule. If we have load shedding during the day, do they switch it on, or do they decide not to switch it on? Is it something you are willing to accept, or is it something you do not compromise on? So just need, if they don't have backup power, just check the location. So let's say you are about to live in Soweto, like I live in Soweto. You know that Soweto has electricity issues, so they need to have backup power, because electricity can go from 5 until 10. So the load shedding is not normal. So where you live determines if backup power is very essential, because load shedding is an issue that we have, right? So let's say you are living in, let's say Joburg South. Joburg South, they do buy electricity. I'm insinuating. I'm assuming, guys. Don't come back at me. So if they buy electricity, it means that the load shedding there is normal, right? So it's not gonna be so much of an issue if they don't have backup power, because you know that you'll have, let's say, 2.5 hours of not having electricity, as to us in Soweto who have like 5 hours of load shedding. So you just need to weigh those things out before choosing the perfect accommodation. So guys, I'm giving you all these tips because I believe that I've lived in more than 7 accommodations in my 3-year journey at GJ. So I lived in 2 in my first year, 3 in my second year, and now 2 with this one in my 3rd year. So I believe this is my last accommodation at GJ. So you just need to consider like all these things, because when I was the first year, I didn't like necessarily know a whole lot of these things. So if you're a first year, also if you're like in matric or you're in varsity, and you actually need to know what you need to look for when you want a student accommodation, this is the best video for you to watch. So I'm giving you all tips. Let me just get back to them. So privacy issues is the next thing on the list. Most of the accommodations I've moved out of, it's not because they do not nice. They are nice. If you're a person like me, you don't like being restricted. You don't like your space being invaded. So when you're looking for an accommodation, you need to learn and know the type of person you are, so that you know what you cannot compromise on. So the first accommodation, the guy is a pastor, so he wanted to be a father figure for all of us, and child, I am not about that life. I left my parents at home, and I pretty much believe I'm an adult, and I do not want to be restricted. As much as I don't do a whole lot of things, because I know I'm a disciplined person, but just because you are restricting me of those things, I now feel like red flag. So yeah, just consider that. You need to check out their privacy. Like, you just need to, there's some questions you just slip in when you're doing your viewing. Like, you're like, so how often does the landlord come, or how often does management do 1 2 3 4, so that you get a feel of and guys, you should also, when you're viewing, you should also talk to the people who actually live there to find out what their issues are, and just see if I'm willing to go through all these things or not, right? So another thing is, you need to consider if you want a sharing, like a shared room or a single room. Most landlords are going for the single room nowadays because of the whole COVID thing, and also because they saw that they're in demand, and obviously you need to go with what is in demand, right? So you need to consider if you actually want a single. Obviously most people want a single, they want their own freedom, they want their own space, they don't want to be cramped up with people. So my experience with sharing is not that bad, but I also wanted my own space, so that I can just be myself, and just whenever I don't want to be with people, I can just be in my room, right? So you need to consider if the rest is worth, if it's worth you sharing, right? So this year, before moving to this place, I considered the campus, right? So the campus, I was going to share because they said that their NSFAS students share, right? They live in the shared studio. So what happens is, there's a bed. I don't like sharing, but I was willing to actually consider sharing because of the amenities that they have, right? I knew that I had my own bathroom, even though my old rest I had my own bathroom, right? There was a kitchenette, there was a fridge, what else? There's a gym, there's a cinema room, there's all those amenities. Just check out them, just take them out. All those amenities. So I was like, so I'm sacrificing my space, but I'm sacrificing them for 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you need to actually, before you say I'm sacrificing sharing, you need to actually consider if the accommodation is to your liking, right? So, but also there are some people who actually actually like sharing, like they would, like they want to have somebody who they can talk to. Who, guys, my second year in sharing. Hey Lydia, I shared a room with you. Ah, you were loud. You also need to consider the proximity of the shopping complexes. So where I lived this year, okay, let me just say where I lived, because I used to live in Orlando 2018, 2019, 2020, and this year, right? So Orlando is like very central, because I can get a taxi to like Barra, I can get a taxi to Maponya, I can get a taxi to town. Just it's accessible to a whole lot of things. So you need to consider where you're going to live. If it's near amenities, like if it's near your malls, if it's near where you are going, the things that you actually enjoy, or the things that are very essential. So you need to consider your shopping. I mean, like, guys, I cannot live in oh guys, I don't know, but I cannot live deep within a place that every time I have to take a taxi to, or every time I have to like go somewhere, I have to like taxify. We don't have money all the time. I cannot be taking out 30 bucks every time to go and 30 bucks to come back. Like, guys, I'm a student, I'm living on a student budget. So you need to consider how far you are from amenities, your shopping complexes and stuff. Or you need to also consider the race transport. If there's no race transport, it has to at least be a walkable distance to campus. Even though we're in this online and pandemic stuff, you still need to go to campus to do certain things. So you cannot be living 30 kilometers away from campus just because, guys, no. So just consider the transport, if they have transport, because sometimes I play netball, right? So we have training. So I would like literally come back with the school bus from APK, right? I would have to come back with the school bus, and I come back pretty much late, and the bus works on a schedule, right? So I have to wait an hour or so just to get to where I live, and I still have to walk 2 ways. So it was very, 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 very much not what I liked, and one of the reasons why I moved. So just consider how far it is, and if you can actually take a taxi or take a Rea Vaya or take an Uber to where you live from campus, and it's not going to be so expensive, or it's walkable, because guys, oh yeah, and where I used to live, I was able to take like the school bus from the Orlando bus stop to campus. So very essential. It's the last thing I wrote down. I don't know if I have any bonus points. Very essential, the very essential thing is you need to view the race first, because I know that races, before you move in, when you're inquiring, they send you pictures. If you're the Soweto girl, like they send you pictures, or when you're in Auckland Park, or let's say you are a vet student. I don't know about other varsities because I don't have experience. My sister is in vets, so when we looked for an accommodation for her, what we did is look at the accredited rest student accommodation, and then we search it, and then they show us the gallery. There's a gallery and stuff. Like the campus, it has its own, you can go to picture whatever and then you can see how it looks. But then it's very, 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 very essential that you go and view first before you move into a place, because pictures can be deceiving. Like, people know how to take pictures. People know how to take pictures with angles. They're not like me. You know, when I gave you guys a race tour, it was not as good. But people can actually take pictures. So just to get a feel of how it is, and if you are actually willing to actually live there, it's very important that you actually go and view. Like, go and view, guys. Um, so one of my mentees just once asked me if I would recommend living on campus or living outside, like your private student accommodation. I personally have not lived in a race at school, because I guess when I came, I there was no space for race. So and then when I got the feel of living in a private student accommodation, I guess I enjoyed it, and I didn't see a reason for me to go to campus. So there are plenty of rules that I cannot. But if you are a person who's considering living Koreas, it's not such a bad thing, because you have access to everything. The Wi-Fi is not a problem. When you wanna go to camp, when you wanna go to the labs and whatnot, it's an easy access and all that. So, but personally, this video was based on the private student accommodations, because that's what I have experience on. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me if you like this type of content, if I should give you more information about privately owned student accommodation according to my experience. And should you have any questions, please just comment them down below, and please be sure to like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. We're on a road to 200 subscribers, guys. We're getting there, and we're gonna get to 1,000, and we're gonna roll with it, because I'm planning to be consistent. So now it's during my recess, so I think that's why I'm able to actually upload every week. But I think with this space that I have, I will be able to upload more often, so look out for it. Thank you, guys.